all the people return to the South Island as well as tourists, which is really good. So giving you a bit of a tourist community, it's great to be here. Look, let's just start. I mean, Lynn, I wonder if you could commence with Karakia, please. It would be grateful.
Tutawa mai I runga, tutawa mai I raro, tutawa mai I roto, tutawa mai I waho, kia tau ai te Māori tū, te Māori ora ki te katoa, haumi e, hui e, tai ki e. Ngā mihi.
Thanks, Lynn. That's tremendous. Right, just get through one or two of the admin things. I've got apologies from John and from Gary for the full meeting.
John will only just be late.
Oh, John's late?
He's just stuck in traffic.
Oh, he's stuck in traffic. Oh, the poor man.
Oh, John Morrissey. Okay.
Oh, okay, you're right. There's two Johns, aren't there? So
Yeah,
that's a really good point. So John Grant will be here. So we'll just sustain apology for lateness. John Morrissey, a full apology, and Gary, a full apology. Look, yesterday I put a timeline on the end of my meeting in Wellington, and it went for an hour and a half after that deadline. So I won't put one on today's meeting, but everybody else is able to be here as far as we know for the length of the meeting. Great. So look, with those three notes, one for lateness, the other two for a full apology, I'll move from the chair. Do I have a seconder, please? Thank you. Robin, put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Thank you. That's a good aye, Terry. Well done. Tremendous. There must be a man that's happy. Okay. That's good. Right. We do have Sandra here. Sorry, Sandra. I think it's Sandra. As a member of the public, and obviously Sandra also relevant, I think, to a matter we're considering under PX coming up. I think you've asked to say some things to the council in this part of the public forum. So look, I'd invite you to come forward if you would be comfortable to the table, please, so you can see the microphone that is on. There's no hurry. And by our orders, it's 5 minutes. If you could keep your comments to roughly then, please, that would be wonderful. Thanks, Martin.
Okay.
So Sandra, just the other things. Yeah, okay there. You sat in the wrong. Sandra, what we normally do, as I said, roughly 5 minutes. At this point, any matter amongst councillors is not for debate. That's for later on when we consider the matter. But they are at the end of your comments. I will invite councillors, if they have matters of clarification that they would like to ask of you before we end this session. Thank you. I'm in your hands, please.
Thank you. So I'm Sandra Scott. Hello. I didn't expect to be facing this many people, to be honest. Anyway, I hope that you've read my application for rates remission, and my apologies for it being so long. So I'll just summarise. It's my contention that the rules relating to the way double rating charges are loaded onto my property, as it is deemed to have an SUIP, a separately used inhabitable part, are unfair and unjustified. Council has advised my rates will include double charges for solid waste, uniform annual general, wastewater, residential, water serviced and water works and services. My studio was formerly my workspace for my landscape design business, a spare bedroom for family and friends, and my laundry attached to my garage. The building was originally permitted as a laundry office garage. It's unsuitable for permanent occupation, and it does not comply with building consent conditions as a dwelling. It still has other uses that require the sink and electrical outlets, the two things that constitute a kitchen, according to council's description. I started letting the studio to make a little extra income to complete much needed repairs and maintenance on my home when I was not earning much due to the decline in my physical health. And now it's essential to pay the extra $3,500 a year in rates. It's only suitable for short-term stays. That's all it's ever been used for, and I have no wish to have anyone living in it permanently, even if it was suitable for this. The double charges on those items stated earlier are not justified as they're based, if they're based on use of services, because I live alone and the studio is only let for a limited number of nights in the year. So most of the year, there's only me using the services. The double charges are also not equitable or fair, in my view, based on use or income derived when compared with other accommodation providers, B&Bs for example, or the many large homes that are rented out at Matarangi, or even sites at Matarangi, for example, where there are multiple tents in evidence which create a far greater load on infrastructure. Furthermore, any extra rating charges should apply to every accommodation provider or none, so including all B&Bs, temporarily rented out properties, private homes or parts of homes, motels, chalets, etc. I keep the nightly rate low to provide affordable accommodation, which I believe helps drive more visitors to come, stay and spend. I would comment here that I think it's a bit contradictory for council to spend our rate money driving more visitors to our area, then penalise somebody offering affordable accommodation to those very same people. Mine is the only accommodation offered at Matarangi that is ideal for 1 to 2 people, and it's clearly meeting a need for that. I enjoy hosting and have had several repeat guests and have been recommended as a super host by guests, which contributes to the visitor experience of the Coromandel. I'm solely dependent on National Super now, as I've been physically unable to continue working as a landscape designer for some years, and I still qualify for a rate rebate, even when the supplementary income from the studio is included in the assessment, demonstrating that I'm not making millions. If I state I will cease letting the studio for holidaymakers, any reduction or remission of rates will not apply until the 1st of July of the following rates year. This might mean up to 12 months with no extra income and higher rates. I feel this is patently unfair. In summary, one size fits all is just not fair in this situation. It's not in keeping with Council's express principles of equity and fairness. It's not justified in terms of actual usage or impact on services. It takes no account of the individual circumstances of the ratepayer and does nothing to acknowledge the contribution that I'm making to drive extra visitor nights to our area. I hope to have input into the review of rating charges, which I've been advised will take place later this year. As mentioned in my letter of application, I have suggestions of different means of assessing extra charges that would be fairer and more equitable. I hope you'll give consideration to remitting the extra charges I'm required to pay, and thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate that, and thank you for your preparation. Members, do we have questions of clarification that you'd like to ask of Sandra at this stage, please? No? We're all good to go? Sandra, look, thank you for that. As you're aware, or as I said, we obviously consider your matter in public exclusion, which will include excluding you. It certainly will be considered. I know it will be. So we will appreciate that we've heard you personally, let alone also had your application. So I appreciate you come a wee way to see us this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There are no items. Don't worry about that. You've done well. Thank you. Thank you, Martin, too. I haven't been informed of any other matter that is not on the agenda. I think we will be joined a wee bit later in the meeting by our new auditor or new audit director. I think that's correct, Donna, when we get to their item. Are there any matters of interest that you need to declare in relationship to this meeting? No? Look, I do just want to note a small interest. It's not one which I consider is a particular problem. It's not a financial one. In PX, we are considering a very helpful report on the regulatory framework that includes one matter which is subject to MB's determination unit. I have a son that works in that unit, so I'm just wanting to indicate that as far as he knows, he hasn't been involved in this. So I don't see there's no decision to be made about it other than we are considering it. So at this stage, we'll continue to chair the meeting and to participate in that matter. But I would like it noted that I have declared that relationship. Minutes of the last meeting, 24th of October. I knew it was late October. We've got them in front of us. I'll move from the chair. We take them as true and correct. I have a second, please. Thank you, Len. Any corrections, comments that need to be made on these Seems like a long time ago, but they are. I didn't go back to the YouTube to look at myself or anybody else on it, so it's interesting. It's well done. It's great to see those as an addition to these. I don't know how long you've been doing that for, but I think that's actually really a cracker addition as well. There isn't any discussion. I've put the motion then. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, it's carried. Can we go to page 122? For reasons that are to enable staff to be present and meet other commitments, we are going to move straight into our public excluded session. So if you go to page 122, you will see the proposed motion to move.
Happy to move.
Thank you, Rika. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Terry. Is there any discussion on that? No, thank you. I always like to pause. It's relevant to make certain people are happy. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, it's carried. Thank you.
Just give us some.
Yes, if you just we'll take a quick breather. Open my lovely coffee from Cocoa. We'll get ourselves going.
Although one, of course, should note that there are a range of other coffees.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
In the area that one should feel free to
I
use.
suffer from, what is it? Routine, and I've gotten to know, what's his name? David, I think. Yeah.
He's declaring a conflict of interest.
No. And we are all staff on. I think we are, aren't we? We're all staff on the system. Yes. Thanks, Sheree. We're good to go. Good. So we're starting at page now get it right, 126, which is the minutes of our public excluded session last meeting. Moved from the chair. They're true and correct. I have a seconder. Thank you, Rika. Is there any